reveal. I think today I'm going to reveal everything else on my sheet, which would be the Elite Eight, Final Four, championship game, and the winner of the championship game. So that's what we're going to do. The last hour is going to be basically primarily tournament talk. I mean, that's what's going on right now. There's a few other minor stories, a few things to talk about. One thing, I was right. I tried to tell you guys, to all who would listen. I think Smid Dog was in here and said it too. The other day I said that the Rockets streak would come to an end, the Houston Rockets streak would come to an end last night when they played the Celtics. So there's no way it could keep going. As soon as they run into a good team, and I know they beat the Lakers a few nights ago, but that team didn't have Gasol. I said as soon as they run into a good team, they're going to lose. And I said it'll probably be against Boston. It'll probably be against Boston on Tuesday. Sure enough, lost by 20 against Boston. Boston didn't even have Ray Allen. Boston was down an all-star and beat the Rockets. And so now here we go. We're going to see the real Rockets. So they're going to make the playoffs. They're going to stay, right near the top of the West. They only have a couple more tough games, and they still have a few more cupcakes in there, a few more teams that they should just put it on. But once they make it into the playoffs, they're in trouble. Rockets are in trouble. T-Mac's a great player, but I'm not sold on the rest of the team. Dikembe Mutombo's like 53 years old. Like I said, though, I'm pulling for him. They got Luther Head. He's an Illinois guy. They got Ray Alston. He's an and one mixtape guy. I love the and one mixtape guys. That's entertaining basketball. I'm pulling for him. I like T-Mac. I just don't think they're good enough to do it. I think we saw the real Rockets last night. They played against a tough team and just couldn't cut it. Caddy has to take off. See you, buddy. Thanks for hanging out. Is Caddy a dude? Did I just call it? I just called a dude, buddy, right? Not a girl. I don't know. Everybody comes in here with these. Everybody signs into the chat room with these crazy names. There's not one real name in here. Rob. There's not one real name in here. Everybody signs in. Everybody gives themselves nicknames and signs into the chat room. It's fun. It's fun to do. But some of them I can't even read. Right? I'm trying to go through the chat room and read off who everybody is. I can't even read some of them. So I don't do that very much anymore. It's hard for me to pronounce some of these things. Just log in there as Tim, Jeff, Tony, Teresa, Alice, whatever your real name is. That'd be a lot easier for me. Anyhow. You guys may have heard something about this, the Red Sox. The Red Sox are starting off their season with a game in Japan. All right, they're going overseas, and their season opener is in Japan. Right? Every player apparently is going to get an additional, on top of the ginormous, money they already make, they're going to get an additional $40,000 appearance fee. Hey, that's perfectly fine with me. These guys are, going across the earth to play a game of baseball. I think a $40,000 appearance fee is fair. I think that's fair. I think that's fair to do. But here's the story behind this, because that's not that much of a story. The story is they weren't going to pay, baseball wasn't going to pay the coaches, the coaching staff, the $40,000. Right? They were, and I guess the players were under the impression they would. The coaches were getting paid like they were, $40,000, just an appearance fee to make the trip to Japan. That's totally fair. When you're dealing with like a multi-billion-dollar industry, $40,000 here or there, $1 million here or there, that's totally fair. So the Red Sox got together. The players called a players-only meeting, decided they were going to boycott their last spring training game against Florida, I think, against the Marlins, I'm not sure, and also not make the trip to Japan if their coaches were not compensated the same way they were. I know what my initial reaction was, God, these guys make millions of dollars. What's $40,000? What's the big deal? But then I got to think about it a little bit more, and I thought, who wouldn't want an additional $40,000, right? Who wants to fly all the way to Japan to play a baseball game for nothing, for free, for what you would make playing it at home? All right, so $40,000 is fair for the players. I think it should probably be more for the players, but I think the coaches should get at least $40,000. Right, so I thought it was cool. And you know what? It worked. It worked. Baseball has agreed to pay the coaches at least in some way. They said it's going to happen. Everybody will get paid. It worked. It's cool to see that the players banded together, right? Stood up for their coaches, and it worked. Now they're going to get the money. They're going to go to Japan. Everybody's happy. I love it. You know what? And that's scary. That's a little bit scary for the rest of the league when the defending World Series champions are that that tight of a team unit before the season even starts. When they're doing things like boycotting games to stick up for their coach, the Red Sox are a team.